Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Huber begins now.
Good evening, everyone. First tonight, a damning report has revealed Tasmania is the slowest state to launch child protection investigations. The government's been slammed for its response, with the opposition saying the blowout is putting vulnerable children at risk and taking a toll on already burnt-out staff.
Yesterday, he was launching the government's first child wellbeing strategy. Today, the Premier out again, forced to defend his government, facing accusations it's letting down vulnerable children.
I think it's important that benchmarking is provided in terms of our performance against other states.
New data showing blowouts in the time it takes to launch child protection investigations.
Well, I've done this same press conference 3 years in a row now and we've seen no change.
Tasmania's child safety system is the worst performing in the country.
The Productivity Commission findings showing it took 29 days to begin investigations in more than 78% of reports.
About 9 out of 10 of every investigation confirms the risk to the child. It is putting the lives of at-risk children more at risk.
Peter Gutwein, when he became the Premier, said he was going to lead a compassionate government, and these figures are far from compassionate.
The union says the sector is under-resourced and is forcing child safety officers to quit.
It's just, it's the straw that breaks the camel's back. And so, part of this problem, that not being able to meet demand, is that we are struggling to keep experienced child safety officers in the job.
Well, given the data has only been released today, the government is going to consider those and what further measures can be taken.
That child wellbeing strategy needed now more than ever. Meg Sides, 7 Tasmania News.
And Peter Gutwein has ruled out an early election as he marks exactly 1 year since taking on the top job. Reviving the economy and righting the wrongs of historical sex abuse are just the start of a lengthy to-do list.
He took the job hoping for business as usual.
Our plan has worked and I see no need for radical divergence from that plan.
2020 had other ideas. Any agenda Peter Gutwein had went out the window. Now with 1 year and one pandemic behind him.
I'm positive, I'm full of optimism, and we've got a list of priorities this year that we're going to roll out and get on with.
Top of the list is next month's COVID vaccine rollout. A commission of inquiry into institutional sex abuse also awaits the government.
I want to get this job done once, I want to get it done right.
Then there's land tax reforms, the spotlight on political donations, and coming up with an economic strategy
that gets Tasmanians who've lost their jobs back into work as quickly as possible.
Analysts also predict exports could be in the firing line.
Likewise, we face a big challenge here in Tasmania because of the trade war that China is waging on Australia.
He's going to be hostage to what COVID does to him, how much he can open up the borders, how much trade he can pursue, getting unemployment down.
While polling last year pointed to a popular Premier, don't expect to be heading to the ballot box anytime soon.
Very, very slim. In fact, my intention is to run to full term March of 2022.
But as last year proved, not everything goes to plan. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
The peak construction body says Tasmania is experiencing a housing boom like never before as new figures reveal the popularity of the home builder scheme. Close to 2,000 applications have been submitted, but there are issues preventing new developments.
Launceston bricklayer Sam Bartzer admits business was steady before COVID-19, but since HomeBuilder was introduced,
it's just really sort of taken off and we're just flat out now and can't keep up.
The calls have been pouring in.
It's probably tripled, I reckon, yeah, at least.
But like much of the industry, securing enough staff has been a daily grind.
Definitely on the lookout for new workers, but they're really hard to find at the moment.
New data released today shows up until the end of last year, 812 Tasmanians applied for a HomeBuilder grant, creating
$1.3 billion in economic activity across the Tasmanian economy.
But many customers have reported experiencing lengthy backlogs waiting for their dream house to be built. Wilson Homes says it's not facing such struggles, rather the pinch points are external.
Council approvals and the banks in particular, some of the timeframes for approvals with the banks are pushing out to 6 and 8 weeks.
The industry says one of the biggest issues stunting further growth here in Tasmania is a lack of land. Blocks like this are hard to come by, and those that do enter the market are snapped up fast.
But it's good to see that there is some new land coming to market this year.
The rush is now on to sign new home packages before the scheme is wound up at the end of March. Garth Burley, 7 Tasmania News.
There's more good news in the quest to save the critically endangered orange-bellied parrot. This breeding season, wildlife biologists counted 88 live nestlings across 27 nests at Melaleuca in Tasmania's far south. It's the highest number recorded at the site since monitoring began in 1994, with some eggs still to hatch. 50 more juveniles will be released from late January to join the wild-born fledglings in their northern migration. In a surf life-saving program with a difference, children of all abilities have taken to the water to learn invaluable skills. 40 kids will take part in the Starfish Nippers initiative this month, aiming to build confidence and make the beach more accessible.
Making a splash. Surf Lifesaving Tasmania kicking off the first day of Starfish Nippers for the season. 40 children with differing needs practising on land before taking to the water.
It's really important to allow these children to be in a supportive environment. So sometimes when joining a surf lifesaving club in Tasmania can be a bit overwhelming in the normal Nippers program.
Volunteers providing one-on-one support throughout the day.
You just have to see the look on the children's faces when they catch a wave in or they go out of the water just to realise why people volunteer for this sort of thing.
Ahead with the kids.
Well, I'm enjoying going out to the pontoon.
Did Veronica go swimming? Not to. Yeah. Did you go on the board?
And with parents.
Obviously we need to keep her safe while she's in the water, and it's nice not to have to be right next to her all the time. Because usually when we do something like this, I'm within arm's reach.
The organisation also rolling out these new wheelchairs at 4 locations around the state, used today for the first time.
She just loves the water. We've always struggled getting her across the sand because she's not particularly ambulant without her orthotics on. So it's great that they've got the Hippocamp chairs now to help get her across the sand.
Surf Lifesaving Tasmania is hoping to eventually extend the program to 400 participants statewide, making the beach more accessible so everyone can have fun in the sun. Meg Sides, 7 Tasmania News.
The nation's top-level motorbike racing series is set to visit Tasmania for the first time in 6 years. The state will host the Australian Superbike Championships final round this year as the leading contenders battle for the title at Symmons Plains.
The engines are being fired up for a long-awaited return to Tasmania.
It's an iconic facility, brings on fantastic racing. There's a love and a passion for coming down here.
Visiting the state for the first time since 2015, the Australian Superbikes Championships final round will be held at Symmons Plains in November.
Symmons Plains brings unreal racing. You've got the back straight down into the hairpin, which bunches the whole field up, and yeah, the racing will definitely be fierce and exciting.
And hopefully draw a bumper crowd.
We know when we last saw the Australian Superbikes here that we saw around 1,000 people come to visit our state and about 4,000 people out here at Symmons Plains.
Currently on a one-year deal, it's hoped this event can become a permanent fixture on the calendar.
I guess I'm going to have to woo the minister a little bit. We're going to actually try that by ensuring that she's here in November to jump on the back of one of our superbikes with a leading superbike rider.
I'm really excited, to be honest. I don't get on the back of a motorcycle very often.
Making sure Tasmania is represented on a national stage is a strong priority.
We're very excited to see this added to the ASBK calendar because it actually truly brings in a national footprint for our calendar. To have national leagues where one of the states doesn't play a part, to me, doesn't make sense, nor is it fair nor right.
The state government is backing a Tasmanian A-League team, as are local clubs.
And I think with the participation rates we've got, the crowds will come. They'll definitely come.
Already, nearly 40,000 play soccer in Tasmania, and it's only set to grow further.
I mean, you've got the Women's World Cup coming in 2023, so that's good for women's sport in general, but women's soccer. It gives some excitement to our youth. It's only going to build it more and more.
Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
Mariners off the state's south coast are being asked to keep a lookout for a lost CSIRO vessel. Last located 20 nautical miles southeast of Tasman Island, the autonomous vessel was damaged in heavy seas and lost contact with its piloting team. The glider floats on the surface of the water, is 2 metres long and predominantly yellow. Anyone who sights it should contact the CSIRO. QV Mag has today added a time capsule of 2020 memories to its extensive archives. The Rotary Club of Tamar Sunrise has been collecting the memories from the Launceston community over the past month in written, artistic and video form.
It was a chance for them just to really reflect. Some of them hadn't stopped to think, well, what actually happened in 2020 and what am I going to learn in moving forward?
The club and museum hope the memories form part of future exhibitions to look at this turbulent time in history. A decision on whether the Australian Rowing Championships will go ahead at Lake Barrington has been delayed until February 1. Rowing Australia says it's postponed its decision for another fortnight due to current COVID travel restrictions and says it's exploring every option, including relocating the event. The championships were set for March 22nd to 28. Star Tasmanian Mare Mystic Journey is a little over an hour away from her first local race in close to 2 years. The long-awaited homecoming at Mowbray, all part of a plan to pull the horse back into shape for a shot at the All-Star Mile.
Ever since her groundbreaking win at the 2019 All-Star Mile,
Mystic Journey over the top takes the lead. She is what dreams are made of.
Mystic Journey has failed to reproduce her near untouchable form of 2 seasons ago.
They're roaring in Tasmania and Mystic Journey won the Guineas easily.
Just 2 wins from 9 starts, but a return to a familiar track may help her rejoin the winner's circle. Mowbray will be her first Tasmanian race in more than 700 days. Also lining up for the meet will be Swoop Dog, who was impressed in his short career, notching 2 wins in the last 2 months.
The first time he came into the stable, he's been shown above average ability.
Hoping to emulate the power and promise of his mother.
She won 4 or 5 races over 2,400, 25 at Flemington. I just believe that he'll stay all day and get his mother's trait.
9 races are scheduled for tonight. Garth Burley, 7 Tasmania News.
Good evening. Cressy warmed up to 25 degrees today to record the state's top. Hobart 19, Launceston 24, Burnie 21, Devonport 20 degrees. Lyoweeney kicked us off with a -4, but generally today's maxima were close to average. Bushy Park 25, Grove 23, King Island 21, Lowhead, Lyoweeney, Friendly Beaches and Flinders Island all 20, St Helens and Strawn 19. Scanning the skies today and not much to report in the way of cloud, a bit whipping there underneath the south coast. Some low-level cloud was spotted over the eastern parts of the mainland. Lots of clear sky as well, apart from middle-level cloud over southern WA and the monsoon activity over the tropics. Tomorrow, the high over the Tasman extends a ridge over Tasmania and a good portion of the eastern states. The inland troughs continue. Northwest to northeast winds over the north and east, lighter winds inland and 10 to 20 knot westerlies over southern waters. Hobart expecting a top of 22 and partly cloudy. Cygnet 24 tomorrow and 27 for New Norfolk. Launceston a high of 26 and partly cloudy but fine. Devonport 22, okay for Campbelltown as well, warming up to 27. 22 for Burnie, Strawn partly cloudy and 21, 23 the top for Smithton. St Helens tomorrow 25, partly cloudy for Swansea 24, 27 for Fingal. UV again extreme at 11, sunset at 8:44 p.m, last light at 9:24. On Friday, fine and partly cloudy, a shower later over the west and far south, fine with plenty of sunny breaks on Saturday, the slight chance of an early shower over the northeast, and on Sunday temperatures pushing towards 30, in fact New Norfolk expecting 32. Plus 30 temperatures tomorrow for Perth, Adelaide, Melbourne and Canberra, fine and sunny everywhere apart from the tropical zone. It's clear but cooling down in Hobart, 16 at the moment. Launceston 20 right now and 19 degrees in Devonport. Louise noticed in sport, Mystic Journey racing tonight at Mowbray. It's facing up for the All-Star Mile if it can get voted in. Another horse from the Bill Ryan stable called Still a Star is the other Tasmanian entrant in the All-Star Mile. All our voting starts on Friday, so if we want a Tasmanian representative, we better vote.
I'll be doing that certainly. Thanks for that, Murph. And that's all your news for now for this Wednesday evening. I'll be back later on with updates. Thanks so much for joining us. Good night.